This afternoon's hobby enhancement is Tiger. A while back I did a quick video of the first few ships that I'd completed from the starter box, this thing. I said something about showing the whole lot once it was completed, and here they are. I did them in generic colours because I didn't really know what I was going to do with them, so I thought, you know, you can use them for other purposes. They could be Americans, they could be pirates, but mostly I just like the texture of the wood paneling on the deck, so I thought, well, you know, let's not paint over that. Get some nice lines out of these things, and so there you go. I did use the Spanish flags in the end though, because I figure that I'll probably use them in my Spanish fleet when we do big games, and you know, one of those days where you plonk everything on the table. Last video I noticed that all the handling, or because you know, the rigging's a bit of a process. If you haven't tried it already, something to look forward to. And I noticed I've manhandled the ship so much that I've actually worn off some of the paint off the guns and even the very bottom of the hull, down where it connects with the waterline. So I had to touch up all of these models and paint those bits back on. Hopefully I didn't miss any bits having said that. So I've gone through this whole fleet and touched up all the gun barrels and a few other bits and pieces. So all those bits that were worn off are now fixed. And it's worth noting that even though every ship was varnished pretty thoroughly with, it's probably Vallejo spray varnish, I think, these days, yeah, it still wore off. That's how much fucking around is involved in trying to get all those bits of thread around the masts. So this is the whole starter fleet. You got your, what is it, 6 odd brig and 3 frigates, which is actually a pretty good fleet when you combine it together. I mean, if you go to halves with somebody, yeah, that's fine, or you add it to another fleet box, but you could do a whole American fleet with this and 1 or 2 named ships. Or you could do a really impressive pirate flotilla with just this lot, because pirates tend not to use anything bigger than a frigate. I will note though that when you combine the starter box with the whole fleet box from one of the I've got the Spanish fleet box, you do end up with a hell of a lot of brigs, and I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to use them all. In fact, here's the Spanish fleet right here. That's all of it there. And you know, the Spanish fleet comes with 3 frigates and 6 brigs. So you can just about do the Spanish fleet with the starter box, a box of the 3rd rates, and a couple of 1st rates. In fact, the Spanish fleet comes with just the 1 1st rate. The other one there is the flagship. Oh, hang on, what's it called? Santisima Trinidad. Holy Trinity is what it means. I had to remind myself what it was called. Fortunately, I've got a rum which has the same name, and it's just on the shelf over there. So this is actually the Spanish fleet box in its entirety, plus the big old lady herself, the ungainly, almost impossible to navigate, biggest ship in the world at the time. So really all it will take to do the Spanish fleet is a box of 3rd rates, a 1st rate, and you know, a little gunboat for novelty factor if you're so inclined, plus the big and ungainly beast herself if you're so inclined. And you know, really, if you're going to do the Spanish, why wouldn't you? I mean, in fact, I'd say it's pretty much mandatory at this point. Now, this Spanish fleet, I'm going to do this in the classic Spanish colours. They will be a red, I might do a dark wood top of the deck, but then wash that in black. And there'll be an awful lot of black on the Spanish ship, probably most of the masts. So I've seen some nice Spanish ships with black masts with some white, where is it? This bottom section of the mast here, I've seen that done in white with the rest of the ship in black with just red along the sides. That's a good look, and I might try to emulate it. If we look at the frigates that we did earlier, that's similar style with the white wrapped around the lower mast, although I used a brown wash on that. I'll probably use a black one on the main Spanish fleet if I'm doing the Spanish colours. Right, now, actually, it does occur to me it's going to take me a long time to rig up all of these ships. I've gotten better at rigging, but I'm very far from proficient. It still takes a lot of time and a lot of swearing and gluing my fingers together. On another note, some people have griped that the first rates, the metal masts are a bit of a pain. In fact, I think they were even giving away free sprues of third rates. I think they were, if you bought a first rate, just to use the masts from the first rates, from the third rates. But I've actually found they're pretty good. I mean, they weren't that hard to straighten out. They took a little bit of adjusting because it's a metal casting and it's thin. But they glued in just fine. A bit of trimming and mucking around, right sort of glue, no problem at all. But I've not tried rigging them yet. When you rig the plastic ships, these things are a bit flexible, which can make it challenging to get all of your lines taut, because just when you've pulled it taut, you think it's fine. You run another line something around and it pulls the mast, I'm exaggerating this, but it pulls the mast in tighter, and then the previous line you put on ends up slack where it should appear tight. So that's a bit of an art form to get that right. I don't know how that's going to go with these metal masts. They appear to have a bit of springiness to them, but I'm hoping they don't sort of bend and then become a problem. So, I may yet get on the bandwagon of bitching and moaning about metal masts, but at this point, I'm actually pretty happy with them. Yeah, so it's going to take me a little while to paint that up. Hopefully in the meantime we'll get some more games in. There is a small group of us now in my home city town. So it looks like these toys will be getting some love. And I've got some terrain to build, and I might even get the odd battle report filmed and posted for you all. Still trying to figure out the best way of doing that. It's not an I go, you go sort of game, so it's an interesting one to try and film. Anyway, on that note, thanks for watching. Feel free to hit like, subscribe. We'll get some more content for this game up and running. For now, time to call it a day.